135 varieties of paddy, 31 grains, 73 pulses, 89 vegetables, 37 leafy vegetables, 54 banana and plantains, 62 fruits, 73 yams and 22 spices. And that is just some of our traditional food crops. With such tropical abundance at our hands, it is little wonder that Sri Lanka is a veritable paradise in the culinary sense too. Looking back historically, it is an inheritance that is rich in ancestry as well as diversity. An indigenous culinary tradition, Supershastriya, was well established when the early kingdoms of Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa and Kandy reigned supreme. From around 500 BC to the early 16th century, a pioneering project on preserving the culinary heritage of Sri Lanka titled Go Sri Lankan was born. Prior to commencement, we took a closer look at ourselves at Jetwing to change our own attitude and our approach. It was time to take pride in our inheritance and go Sri Lankan with drive and passion. Hence, the primary objectives of the Go Sri Lankan project were to understand and accept the importance of Sri Lankan cuisine, understand our spices, research and understand Sri Lankan cuisine in its correct perspective, indigenous, regional and acquired, develop a Sri Lankan kitchen, help discard myths relating to Sri Lankan cuisine, maintain records and learning, and preserve them for posterity. Working towards our first objective to understand and accept the importance of Sri Lankan cuisine, we began by taking vital steps towards changing our attitudes and our mindset. We also actively looked at ways to improve the repertoire of Sri Lankan cuisine offered at Jetwing hotels, and as a result, the F&B divisions of each hotel were entrusted with the task of giving due prominence to local cuisine in their menus and theme nights. The secret to Sri Lankan cooking has always been in our spices, and this was the focus of our second objective. We have made it a policy to acquire all our spices in raw form and to prepare the blends and mixtures in our own kitchens, the authentic way as per traditions of old. The gastronomic range of Sri Lankan fare is as vast as it is varied. Many are unique to a particular area, even a village. To fulfill this objective, each Jetwing hotel formed a Go Sri Lankan team, headed by a general manager, with an executive chef as their deputy and other staff members to support. Each team then set out to explore and collect recipes of dishes unique to an area of significance chosen by each particular hotel. Special attention was given to identifying indigenous dishes, their cooking methods, as well as any handy hints and tips, the special characteristics, medicinal value, its history, and so on. We believe that every recipe has a story, and we were intent on discovering these stories too. Upholding our culinary tradition, we felt should also begin in our own kitchens to give star status to Sri Lankan cooking, not just the dishes, but to the talent too. In bringing Sri Lankan cuisine to the forefront, we also re-looked at our menus and changed them accordingly. A separate a la carte menu for Sri Lankan food was carefully planned and introduced. Our research also noted that at times false impressions were created with regard to Sri Lankan cuisine, with visitors being warned to stay away from local fare due to it being unpalatably spicy. Thereby, we took active measures to dispel such myths. We also ensured to find ways to make certain hot dishes more palatable towards Western taste, but without losing the authenticity or the flavor. Maintaining an ongoing record of all our findings, research and recipes was imperative. Therefore, each Go Sri Lankan team was required to document their findings. We have at present collected over 200 indigenous recipes and records from visits to over 20 rural villages, with information gathered from discussions and conversations with locals from each respective area. This wealth of knowledge we plan to collate into a comprehensive volume of Sri Lankan cuisine, the blueprint of which is evolving. The pivotal